Hello and welcome to Web Page Development. I'm Todd Jamison. I'll be your professor this semester. So I'm a business professor here at Chadron State College and have been serving since 2008, so been here for a while. Prior to teaching, I actually worked in the technology industry. Started right out of high school as a computer technician, worked my way up to a systems engineer, and then in late 2004, early 2005, started my own project management company that I sold prior to teaching for Chadron State. So this is actually a second career for me, but I absolutely love what I do. I'm a wannabe chef. I love to make all sorts of different recipes, including taking recipes that really aren't all that great for you and making them nice and healthy. And that kind of leads into a few different hobbies that I have. I have a deep passion for health and fitness, basically, personal finance and technology. Love all of those three things. So I like to stay healthy. I like to live responsibly with money and help others do the same. And I love playing around with new technologies and gadgets and sci-fi and superhero movies and you name it. I love all that kind of stuff. And then probably the most important thing is that I spend a lot of time with my family. That's one of the reasons why I chose to go into higher ed, is because it really allows for me to have a career where I get to spend a lot of time with family. Now, don't get me wrong, I also work pretty hard too, but there's a lot more balance than what you see in the technology industry, where 70 to 80 hour work weeks are not uncommon. So really enjoy it. Anyways, that's enough about me. You're here to learn about the course, not necessarily about me, so let's go ahead and get started on that. All right, so here's our course. This is web page development, where we're going to be building web pages from scratch. That means instead of what you'll see in some web building platforms and all that, where you install some software and you kind of drag and drop a bunch of stuff and make a website. That's not what we're going to be learning. What we are going to be learning is the actual code, HTML, which is a programming language that web browsers use to present information to you. Now, this course is 8 weeks in length, so it's accelerated. The good thing about that is that you're going to focus heavily on the topics for a short period of time. The bad thing about this accelerated format is that if you get behind at all, it can be difficult to catch up. So just be aware of that. We're going to be covering HTML5 and CSS3. Those are two different programming languages that pretty much every web browser on the internet uses at this point to provide content to you. So, for example, if you go to Google or CNN or Reddit or Facebook, any of those websites, what you're seeing presented to you on the screen was written, partially at least, using HTML and CSS. So HTML is the programming language. It's kind of what they call a structural language. So in other words, when you want to see headings and paragraphs and tables and things like that, those are written in HTML. CSS is another programming language that we're going to learn, and that one is primarily focused with the formatting and the layout and the look of a web page. So, for example, red text or hovering over a link and it pops up a little description box that's yellow or something like that. That would be an example of CSS. Now, we're going to focus on the basics in this course, so we're going to keep it very simple but very cool. We're going to create some interesting web pages, and then at the very end, we're actually going to create a 4 to 5 page website for you to use. But we're going to keep it simple. We won't have a tons of bells and whistles and things that you would see in upper level courses where we really delve deeply into the material. Here, we're just going to learn some basics. So here are your learning outcomes. Keep in mind this is an introductory programming course, so we're not going to go too deep into anything. We're just going to learn some of the basics. This is part of the Business Information Systems curriculum at Chadron State. So this is one of your programming courses or one of your BIS courses out of a series that you would take if you're a BIS major. If you're not a BIS major and you're looking for a major to go into, this might be one for you if you really like this class. So we're going to learn the fundamentals of web development. Again, we're not going to focus on creating crazy, cool, complicated websites. We're just going to keep it simple. So we're going to focus exclusively on HTML5 and CSS3. And then finally, you're going to get a taste of what it's like to be a web developer. Again, the basics, but you'll get a taste of what it's like to go through the development process, from creating your content to picking your colors to what images you want to use, and then writing all the code to support that. So it's very cool. I can't wait to share all this with you. So here are our major assignments. Every week we have a weekly assignment, sometimes more than one, but a lot of times just one. We have a weekly discussion where you'll go in and talk about course topics of the week with other people in the class. And then you have a final project that we're going to work on throughout the course and submit drafts along the way so I can help you develop it. The final submission of your final project will be in the middle of week 8. Now, your project is going to be a website of 4 to 5 pages, and it should be business focused. You will have a homepage, a contact page, a blog page, and you'll have a page of your choice. And then if you want to extend it out to a 5th page of another page of your choice, you can. But your page of choice would probably be something like, for example, if we have a restaurant, that would be our menu. If we have let's say a photography business, that might be a portfolio with some images on it. So again, we're going to kind of let you tailor it to your needs, but with some support from myself. All right, so here's my grading scale and my typical grading policies. I keep things pretty simple in my courses. One thing I want to be aware of is that whenever you take a course with me, I have a minimum passing grade of 70%. The reason for this is virtually everybody who takes this course in particular, and most courses from me, and they work hard. They come in and they do all the work, and they do it to the best of their ability. Most of them earn A's and B's. I get a few C's, but I don't do D's because I've found that in the years that I've been teaching, most of the people who do D's, they just kind of phone it in. They don't work very hard, and they're just looking to pass. And look, the real world doesn't work that way, and neither do I. I want you to come here. I want you to work hard. The assignments, they're due on Sundays, and that's at Sunday night, 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time. So just remember that if you have assignments due, they are due on Sundays. Our discussions take place throughout the week, but I'd like you to do your first post by Wednesday, 1 initial post, and then 3 follow-up replies to other students throughout the rest of the week. The days of the week are totally up to you. But what I would do is make sure that you have that first post by Wednesday. And please do not go in and reply to people at 11:50 on Sunday night because nobody will read that and you'll be graded accordingly. Your final project now is going to be due on Wednesday of week 8. That gives me some time to turn around and get it graded and turned back to you. So you'll want to make sure that that's the only exception in this entire class on when things are due, is that last week I actually closed the class down on Wednesday so I can focus on grading things and getting them back to you and getting your grades put in with the registrars before they take me away and beat me with sticks again. That really hurt last time. All right. And then late submissions. I always get students that ask me about this. Hey, look, things happen sometimes. You get ran over by a car, or grandma dies again, or something like that, where you might need a late submission. Sorry about the grandma thing. That was kind of rude. But anyways, that does happen, okay? If it is a one-time deal or something that doesn't happen very often, I'm okay with taking a late submission. What I'm not okay with taking is late submissions over and over again. To me, that means that you can't organize your time properly, and maybe this course isn't for you. Maybe you come back and take it again later, or you figure out something else with your life, because it's pretty clear to me that you're having some issues. So get them in on time. If you do need an extension for some reason, you need to ask me ahead of time, and I'll grant it, usually depending on the situation. So let's go on to the next slide. So here's your next steps. Okay, the first steps in this course. One is that you log into CSC Online and get started. Click on the Lessons section. Install the required software. In this class, we only have 2 pieces of software that are required. One is Text Wrangler if you're running OS X, or Notepad Plus if you're running Windows. And there are videos for those in the lessons section as well. So do the readings, watch the videos, and practice the coding. I have to warn you, This class is a lot like a math class. You need to practice your coding in order to make it work properly, just like when you're learning algebra. Okay, that's how web development works. You have to, because there's a process. You have to write the code. You have to test the code. You have to debug the code or fix problems before everything works properly. And if you submit something to me that you haven't tested and doesn't work, if I'm grading it, that's what I'm grading it on. So you need to practice it ahead of time. Make sure it's right before you submit it. That's very important. Then finally, for your first steps, complete your assignments and your discussion for week 1. You have 2 assignments. You have an assignment where basically you're going to create the first few web pages. And then the second assignment is coming up with some ideas of what type of business-focused website you want to build for your final project. And then by Sunday night, make sure you have that stuff submitted. And then we're going to work on world domination. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to work with you this semester to help you succeed with your web page development stuff. So anyways, you have a great week.